Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video today on Chris's Watch Reviews. Tonight I'm going to be taking a look at a very interesting budget GMT watch. It's the Tissot Chemin de Tourelles, if I pronounce that correctly, GMT. And what's unique about this watch is that unlike other watches out there that are GMT watches in the affordable spectrum, which they are referred to as office GMTs, this watch is a legit traveler's GMT. And so when I turn the camera around and we go through the review, I'll point out the differences between the office GMT and the traveler's GMT. We'll go over specifications. I'll show you what it looks like on the wrist, give you a few additional wrist shots, and go from there. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so that you receive notifications of future content. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here it is, the Tissot Chemin de Tourelles. Once again, if I mispronounced that, please tell me in the comments section, because Lord knows I am not going to always pronounce these Swiss things correctly. So let's get just right into the specs and dimensions here. So we're going to do width about 42. Case thickness with that sapphire crystal, 12.2. Lug to lug, we are looking at about 46. So there you have it, 42 by 46 by just over 12. Oh, let's do the crown here real quick too. Let's see, we got a crown 6.2, so that's pretty good. Going to the crown here, as you can see, it's signed. It is not screw down. You wind it this way, it just winds up the movement. So let's talk about the movement real quick. So the difference between an office GMT and a traveler's GMT. An office GMT will have a GMT hand similar to this, but what it does is that hand is the hand that you can adjust. And so it's basically used for, say, tracking 2 time zones. And, say if you're working in an office and you communicate with people in London, and you want to set that second hand to London time, that's what it's for. Traveler's GMT, the hour hand moves independent from the other hands. So say if you were flying to Seattle, all right, you're going to pull that crown out to the first position, and the hour hand will actually jump. And you see it moves independently each turn, and you can adjust it as needed. And that is what a traveler's GMT is. So it allows you to do a quick, like say if you were flying to Seattle, 3-hour time difference. You can then set it back 3 hours from where you were, but now that second hand is still on your home time zone. So you're tracking your home time zone as well as your current time zone. And that's going to be the difference between the office GMT and a traveler's GMT. So let me go ahead and just set this back to my regular time here. I believe that's where it was. No, that's where it was. So let's get into the dial here. As you can see here, the dial has sort of like a guilloche pattern around the outer edge, whereas the center of the dial has sort of like just a plain old matte black finish. It's not sunburst or anything like that. Has the 24-hour markers on the outer side. Has applied Roman numerals at the 12, 3, 6, and 9. It's very much a dressier GMT. So going into that for a moment here, you can see it uses the Powermatic 80 GMT movement that ETA developed for this watch group. Other watches that feature this are the Radocentrics, the Certina DS Action GMT, and the recently released Mito Ocean Star GMT. But all those watches usually retail for about $1,000 or up. I picked this one up for $399, and that is unbelievably cheap for a traveler's GMT watch. Now, yes, it does not have the 200 meters of water resistance like some of those other watches do that I just mentioned. This is more of a dressier watch. Doesn't have the outer GMT bezel, so it's lacking some of those features, hence the slightly cheaper price. But you can still see it's got some of the nice finishing there on the rotor and the base plate. It's a sapphire crystal. As you can see here in some of the lights, it has some anti-reflective coating, although it's really not all that great. Has a date complication at the 6 o'clock, which some people don't like, but I, found it to be not very intrusive at all, so it doesn't really bother me. But you should know this though, if you are picking this watch up, the date feature is not quick set. because when you pull that crown out to the first position, you are moving the hour hand. So if this watch dies, if you leave it out for more than 80 hours, it needs to be fully wound again. You're going to actually have to keep turning the time over until you get to the date desired. There is no quick set date feature. That's why I keep this watch on a watch winder, so I don't have to worry about it. And if you do have one, I would recommend purchasing one for this watch, or put this watch on your watch winder if you have it. So, like I said, the dimensions, though, they're very wearable. It's really nice. And see the finishing here, the bottom part of the case has a really nice brushing to it. The lugs taper down pretty nicely. But then the top here, the bezel part is all polished. I'll try and zoom in here a little bit. You can see the polishing on the bezel. It does pick up scratches and smudges, but, it's easy to clean. So the strap that came with it is a fall alligator pattern leather watch strap that has a deployant clasp, and a rather cheap one at that, I might add. And that's where Tissot is saving money. I put the watch on when I got it. I did not like the band or the deployant clasp at all, so I got rid of it, picked up an aftermarket strap. Now, you see that right there? It says 21. That is the main downside to this watch. Is a 21 millimeter lug width. Strap options are going to be limited, but there are options out there, especially on Amazon. I found this one, probably Chinese, but it is good, supple hornween leather with the nice stitching on it, and I think it works really well with this watch. So, I put this on the time grapher, and true to most ETA-powered movements, it's running really well. This one was measured at +8 seconds a day. Very little to no beat error whatsoever. So it's just a good, tried and true, reliable movement from the Swatch Group. You just can't go wrong with it. So let me go ahead and store it on my wrist here for you and just show you what it looks like. Like I said, 42 millimeter diameter. It's a little big for a dressier watch, but for reference, I have 6 3/4 inch wrists. So you can go ahead and take a look. You can see there, wears pretty well. The lugs don't hang over my wrists at all, as you can see. It just wears very comfortably, and, like I said, I love the strap that I put on here. It was really good. You can definitely see the reflections of everything because of the lack of the anti-reflective coating that Tissot puts on here. Just not very good compared to other watches. But once again, $399. I picked this up on watchmax.com. I believe it's still offered there for that price right now. So if you happen to catch this video, go ahead, check out watchmax.com. They are not a sponsor at all. Just going to point you in the direction of where I purchased my watch. I don't have any affiliates or sponsors. All the watches that are here on my channel are watches that I currently own or have owned in the past. So guys, I hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, any questions about the watch or purchasing, leave me a question in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Like I said before at the beginning of the video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you'll receive future notifications of additional content that I put out. Take care, guys. Be safe.